Okay. I kind of tore into the alt-right because they ticked me off picking on somebody that they didn't need to be picking on. And how it works is this. What really bugs me about the alt-right is they don't stand for anything. And they believe their own crap. They're not National Socialists, though they use the imagery of National Socialism. They're not fascists, though they use the imagery of fascism. They cherry pick quotes from Hitler, Franco, Mussolini, and others, but yet they do not understand the overall policies of these leaders or their philosophies. There was some good in the alt-right when I first saw it coming about during the Trump election, and that was that it had unified international youth behind Donald Trump. I saw people in many countries supporting Trump because they thought that he was going to fight globalism. He was going to fight the destruction of Western civilization. I saw people all the way from Russia and Taiwan and Japan and Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, Mexico even. Yes, Mexico, one of my favorite people from Mexico, a young girl that was bullied off of Facebook by the alt-right, supported Donald Trump because she thought that he was going to work with Mexico or do something. I guess she assumed that wall would help stop the flow of money and other bad stuff going into Mexico that bad people were using against innocent people in Mexico. Unfortunately, if the alt-right does stand for anything, it seems to stand for getting Donald Trump elected. Now, if we look at what Donald Trump stands for, which is Zionism, he's the best friend of Israel, best friend Israel's ever had that's ever been elected to an American political office, it seems. Beyond that, what else does he stand for? Making shady deals with Saudi Arabia. Okay. What else does Donald Trump stand for? Chauvinism and saying very vicious things about women. What else does Donald Trump stand for? Anti-Hispanic racism, whether or not he himself is truly anti-Hispanic. He has been taken out of context, perhaps, by some of the more vehemently minded and, well, not vehemently minded, some of the more racist-minded members of his supporters. So you have a dude. Now, this is what, if the alt-right stands for Donald Trump, and it stands for what they believe Donald Trump stood for, what does it really stand for? And that's not much of anything. I mean, it was pretty cool to see a movement that got the youth rallied. It was. But when you look at it in retrospect, and mind you, I was caught up in it too. I voted for Donald Trump. I mobilized voters for Donald Trump. I helped bring people to the polls to get Donald Trump elected. Okay? And in retrospect, when I look back on it, it was my own my own foolishness. I thought that Donald Trump would get into office. He would moderate. Instead of a wall, he would profess a more reasonable policy of, I don't know, perhaps using more militarized force at the borders and coasts and waterways and airspace to protect the United States from not Mexican immigrants, but from Islamic extremists. On top of that, you have to look at where are the Islamic extremists coming from. They're not really coming from Mexico. They're coming from Canada and Europe, primarily. You see the Trump administration blather on and on and on and on and on about Latino crime, and you see Trump supporters blather on and on and on about Latino crime. But what you don't hear them blather on about is the excessively high rate of black on everybody violence, like Colin Flaherty at least does. But you don't see enough people talking about the black on everybody violence that's outrageously endemic. And you hear about how Latinos steal the jobs of white people, which is blown way out of proportion. But yet you don't hear the way that pro-black affirmative action has affected the working poor of the white race in America. You see, this is all selective. This is cherry picking of ideas to paint a narrative, as I stated. So I guess what really irks me about the alt-right is, as a person that was a genuine National Socialist, and is, in my opinion, I would say I'm a third positionist that borrows primarily from Mussolini fascism, constitutionalism, U.S. constitutionalism, and what do you call it, German National Socialism. I would say what irks me the most is the alt-right buys their own bullcrap. They think they stand for something when they don't. They're just a bunch of angry people that bully people online. I don't get bullied easily in person, let alone online. So it's interesting the way that these people believe they can intimidate people online when they don't understand. And a lot of these people are scrawny little runts or children. And that's what's kind of sad too, is you see children being led down this path toward antisocial behavior, and they're not creating anything. They don't stand for anything. They're not standing for Western civilization. They don't stand for the United States of America. And they don't even stand for Donald Trump in any real way. All they stand for is this idea. For example, this douchebag, this troll, some of the clips he posted involve very aggressive attitudes towards women. Now, what are you? Are you a white person? Or are you some kind of gangsta rapper? I mean, seriously, you're going to promote these negative opinions toward women, yet talk down about radical Islam and talk down about blacks and talk down about Hispanics when you're promoting negative views towards women, just like the gangster rappers, just like the radical Islamists. So what you're doing is you're promoting the same things you should be fighting against if you're pro-American, if you're pro-Western civilization. You don't stand for crap. That's what it boils down to.